The moment Rick Ross made his choice in the feud between 50 Cent and T.I., it cracked open a wound that no one thought would ever resurface. Ghosts from past clawed their way back into the light. Memories of chaos 50 Cent assumed the world had buried. The question hanging in the air, did Ross truly grasp the storm he was stepping into? A conflict that had never fully died, a fire simmering for decades. To understand February 2026, you have to trace the roots, back nearly 20 years. This wasn't a sudden clash. It was a continuation, a reckoning of grudges left unfinished. For Rick Ross, stepping in meant reopening old scars, reliving every calculated humiliation 50 Cent had orchestrated against him when the tension first exploded. And it all begins with T.I. and 50 Cent. Their rivalry is ancient, dating at least to 2007, when both men were at the zenith of hip-hop. 50 Cent was riding the G-Unit wave at full throttle, while T.I. had cemented himself as the unchallenged king of the South. Beneath the fame and flash, a quiet war was always brewing, a tension just beneath the surface, waiting to seep out. By 2008, the undercurrent started to bleed into their music. 50 Cent dropped You So Tough, a G-Unit track pack with barbed lines. Observers read them as a direct jab at T's gun case, the shockingly light sentence T.I. had received after being caught with 10 machine guns he wasn't legally allowed to carry. The subtext was clear. 50 Cent was implying the verdict was suspicious, almost too easy to be real. T.I. stayed silent then, but the seed of doubt had already been planted in the public's mind. Fast forward to 2020. The feud reignites when T.I. publicly called out 50 Cent for backing out of a versus battle, a platform where artists trade songs live, one verse at a time. T.I. attacked with precision, posting the challenge online, speaking confidently on Hot 97, flaunting his catalog like a weapon. But 50 Cent reacted in the way he always does, not with bars, not with energy, but with history. Old footage, old accusations, recycled stories. He resurfaced the 2008 Crime Stoppers ad where T.I. had begged the public for tips on solving crimes. In the unforgiving eyes of hip-hop, that wasn't neutral. That was a declaration. T.I. was a snitch. Jump to February 6, 2026. T.I. sits on Shannon Sharpe's Nightcap podcast. Calm, relentless, unapologetic. I said I wanted 50 Cent. That's exactly what I said. He don't want no smoke, though. His voice cracks with fire. Oh, Lord, I called my man out. He don't want smoke. He's dodging it, playing it safe. But what made this round different? What turned the tension into a full-blown storm was what T.I. revealed weeks later on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. He told the host the truth no one expected. He and 50 Cent had actually hashed out the versus battle in private, right there in Los Angeles. 50 Cent had agreed. He had nodded. He had said yes. And then, the moment T.I. went public, 50 Cent vanished into silence. To T.I., it was no longer about music. It was about 50 Cent's character, his core, the real man behind the empire. We were moving around L.A., selling some TV shows. T.I. explained, voice tight with tension. I asked him, "You down for this?" He said, "Yes." I said, "All right, I'll go first. You follow?" That's what it was about, because now I question your integrity. 50 Cent's response? Pure, unapologetic, vintage 50 Cent. He went straight to Instagram, dredging up every old clip he could find. Snitch stories, Crime Stoppers footage, courtroom testimony from 2010. Every post a dagger, every caption a warning. Keep my name out of your mouth. He dubbed T.I. King Rat online. No diss tracks, no formal battle. Just a cold, relentless hum of social media, a war waged through screens. Then, on February 22nd, 2026, 50 Cent took it one step further. He posted a cruel, unflattering old photo of T's wife, Tomatini Harris, online. No bars, no song, just an image, weaponized for ridicule, for viral humiliation. That single act detonated the tension. By nightfall, T.I. struck back. First, a diss track Cold War. Then, on February 23rd, he unleashed the right one, a full disc-length salvo naming 50 Cent, cataloging his losses, exposing failed relationships, and highlighting a pattern of avoiding real competition. He didn't stop there. He called out Rick Ross and Fat Joe by name, two men who had already humbled 50 Cent in the past. This was more than a battle. T.I. was making a statement. 50 Cent's history of defeat wasn't buried. It was still very much alive, and the evidence was right here. Every name drop was deliberate, every lyric a beacon, signaling to 50 Cent's enemies that the gates were open. And Rick Ross didn't hesitate. He walked straight through. At the same time, T's son, King Harris, stepped into the fray. After the photo of Tiny went online, King unleashed everything he had. No line was sacred, no boundary left untouched. He brought up 50 Cent's mother, Sabrina Jackson, murdered in 1983, posting images of her grave, daring 50 Cent to go dig it up. The internet froze. Shock, horror, disbelief. Some called it justified. After all, 50 Cent had ignited the personal attacks first. Others saw it as crossing a line no one in the industry dared to cross. Many felt King Harris had crossed a line that should never have been crossed. Yet once the words hit the internet, there was no turning back. By the time Rick Ross stepped into the fray on February 24th, the feud had already spiraled into territory most hip-hop conflicts never reach. But for Ross, this wasn't about picking side for drama. It was deeply personal, rooted in memory, pride, and history. When his moment arrived, he acted without hesitation. Ross claimed his side, carrying with him 15 years of grudges, slights, and unforgotten insults. Rick Ross never forgets. Neither does 50 Cent. His involvement wasn't casual, neutral, or opportunistic. He was lifting the veil on one of the most explosive, relentless feuds hip-hop has ever witnessed, a war that had already spawned leaked tapes, lawsuits, cartoon mocks, baby mamas, and legal battles so intense they contributed to 50 Cent filing for bankruptcy. To grasp the full gravity, you have to trace it back to the beginning. In 2008, 50 Cent issued a nay-public decree to Rick Ross. Stay away from Fat Joe, who was clashing with G-Unit at the time. Ross ignored the warning. Worse, he felt a deep personal insult from the cold glare 50 Cent shot him at the 2008 Bet Hip Hop Awards, a look that seared itself into Ross's memory. That glance, combined with a defiance, was enough fuel to ignite a war waiting to happen. January 2009 marked the first overt strike. Rick Ross released Mafia Music, a track widely interpreted as a direct assault on 50 Cent, even digging into personal matters, including child support battles and private knowledge only insiders would know. 50 Cent retaliated with Officer Ricky, Go Ahead, Try Me, a blistering diss that exposed Ross's secret past as a corrections officer, a revelation that shattered the tough, street boss image Ross had cultivated for years. But 50 Cent was far from done. Every move, every post, every clip was calculated to humiliate, to destabilize, to remind Ross that nothing in this war was off limits, and that the past always had a way of coming back to haunt you. 50 Cent didn't just retaliate with music. He launched a full-scale operation, a personal vendetta executed in every medium possible. Animated Officer Ricky cartoons mocked Rick Ross mercilessly. Comedy skits parodied him and his crew. 50 Cent even sat down on camera with Ross's baby mama, Tia Kemp, who didn't hold back. She confirmed the corrections officer's story and spoke poorly of Ross's character. Then came the photos. 50 Cent shopping with Tia, posting pictures with Ross's son. Each move was a surgical strike aimed to humiliate, wound, and puncture pride in the most intimate way imaginable. March 2009 pushed it further than anyone thought possible. 50 Cent released a 13-minute tape featuring Last Tia Leston, mother of Ross's daughter, layered with his own scathing commentary. He hosted it on his own website. The fallout was immediate. Last Tia sued, a grueling legal battle that dragged on for years. The jury awarded her roughly $7 million. That judgment, one of many blows, would later contribute to 50 Cent's 2015 bankruptcy. The weight of all this history, all this personal attack, is what Rick Ross carries with him every time 50 Cent's name is mentioned. Every post, every comment, every public move is shadowed by that legacy. So when T.I. dropped a diss track in 2026, specifically calling out 50 Cent's losses to Ross, it wasn't just lyrics. It was a flare, a signal, a deliberate invitation for Ross to step back into the battlefield. On February 24th, 2026, Ross responded on Instagram stories, making his allegiance crystal clear. He called the track fire, urged followers to stream it, and confirmed there was no subtlety, He was fully behind T.I. Headlines repeated his words verbatim. That __ on fire. That hot. I with that. Make sure you'll stream that new T.I. Man. Tip. It was only a matter of time before Ross got involved in ATL. Then, February 27th, King Harris dropped his diss track Suze. He wore a custom t-shirt featuring a photo of 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, a move that pushed the feud into territory few in hip-hop would dare tread. The internet erupted. Then Rick Ross saw the post and left a single comment that immediately went viral. Need that T in 3XL. A simple message, yet it carried weight, confirming his presence and support. King Harris replied instantly, promising to send it. Every viewer knew exactly what that interaction meant. History, revenge, and allegiance were all on display in one chilling moment. Now pause and think about what that single comment from Rick Ross really meant. No diss track, no long-winded statement. Just 3 words, 1 line, and it shattered the silence. That one moment told the world everything. He had seen what King Harris was doing. He approved, and he was stepping into the story. Every move, calculated. Every signal, deliberate. And it struck 50 Cent where it hurt most, right at the core, exactly where this feud had been targeting from day one. What amplified Ross's impact was that T's diss track had already done the heavy lifting, linking the battles across decades before Ross even showed up. The right one called out 50 Cent specifically for losses he suffered at the hands of Ross and Fat Joe. King Harris didn't hold back either, accusing 50 Cent of avoiding a real musical showdown with Ross, choosing comedy and ridicule over skill. This wasn't Ross being dragged into someone else's war. The fight had already partially been about him. He merely made it official. 50 Cent's response to Ross's public support came the very next day, February 25th, via Instagram. But notice this, he didn't address the t-shirt comment. Instead, he posted about Ross streaming T's record, captioning, "Whenever these punk ninjas want to promote their whack songs or car shows, they mention me to get some attention and money. Can't you see the pattern? I know they are broke and needed quick cash to maintain their fake lifestyle. I'm the good guy." 3 laughing emojis followed. Classic 50 Cent, painting himself as untouchable, unbothered, untangled from the chaos. It's a strategy has run since 2009, but it also meant the Sabrina Jackson t-shirt comment, completely ignored, still unanswered as of early March 2026. Meanwhile, the feud had started to pull in outsiders who had nothing to do with hip-hop at all. Tina Knowles, mother of Beyoncé, reposted a video of Tiny Harris looking radiant, a subtle show of solidarity after 50 Cent's cruel photo post. Predictably, 50 Cent countered, posting a photo of Tina Knowles on his own Instagram, another calculated strike in a war that had long since spilled beyond music, beyond industry, into personal territory that touched everyone watching. The post came with a caption dripping with malice, mocking older women getting involved and cruelly referencing one of T.I. and Tiny Harris's children, a child with albinism. The backlash was immediate. Beyoncé's fan base stormed social media, dragging 50 Cent for crossing a line even the fiercest observers didn't expect. Within hours, 50 Cent deleted the post, but by late February 2026, the entire saga had gone viral. So much so that police departments were joking online about getting calls from concerned citizens about the feud. People everywhere were calling it ugly, chaotic, and completely out of control. And in the eye of the storm, Rick Ross, sitting unshaken, fully on record, waiting for his moment, and for his shirt. Here's what most people misunderstand about Rick Ross's role in all of this. They treat it as if he just wandered in last minute, but nothing about his involvement was random. February 2026 was a continuation, a resurrection of a war that had never truly ended, just paused for years. The moves Ross made, posting his stories, leaving that one simple comment, were intentional. They came from 15 years of genuine pain, history, and grudges that never healed. Ross has always been transparent about how he sees 50 Cent. Back in a 2016 Rolling Stone interview, he said plainly that he is the single biggest loss 50 Cent has ever taken, and he found it almost laughable. While 50 Cent stacked failures, Ross built his empire, accrued victories, and cemented his legacy. That energy, the meticulous patience, the strategic positioning, drove every single gesture in 2026. He didn't need a diss track. He simply needed to appear visible, deliberate. And then there's a silence from 50 Cent. What it tells us is crucial. 50 is not a man who lets things go. His reputation is built on never letting anyone have the last word. So when he co-signed Ross's Instagram story but ignored the Sabrina Jackson t-shirt request entirely, it was deliberate. Was it strategy, fear of reopening a legal and personal nightmare, or calculated avoidance of a path he knows could destroy him again? Only 50 Cent knows. But to anyone watching closely, the message is loud and clear. Some interpret his silence as growth, a man finally resisting the urge to pour gasoline on a fire that nearly consumed him years ago. Others see it as avoidance, ironic considering that the feud began with 50 Cent accusing T.I. of ducking. The man who built his legend calling others cowards now choosing quiet when things turn personal. It's a twist nobody could ignore. Meanwhile, Rick Ross's ex, Tia Kemp, who had been weaponized against him back in 2009 by 50 Cent, emerged during the 2026 chaos to deliver her own warning. She knew the storm 50 Cent could unleash, and she wasn't about to let history repeat itself. She stepped into the chaos with a warning that cut through the noise. Tia Kemp posted videos telling T.I., King Harris, and the entire Harris family to step back. Her message was chilling in its simplicity. You do not fully understand who you are dealing with. 50 Cent is patient. He plans 10 moves ahead. He doesn't always strike immediately, but when he does, it's decisive, devastating. Tia knew this intimately, having been at ground zero the first time. She'd witnessed up close what happens when 50 Cent decides to dismantle someone. The fact that she intervened speaks volumes about how seriously she views the threat, even now, in 2026. But this 50 Cent is not the same man who made cartoons and posted an infamous tape back in 2009. He has evolved. He is running a television empire through the Power franchise, juggling a Broadway revival of Joe Turner's Come and Gone, all while the storm of this feud rages around him. His mindset during the conflict was clear. I do not need to rap back. You need me to rap back. For a man whose legacy was built on lyrical annihilation, this is a profound shift in strategy, in persona. Whether it's growth or calculated avoidance is a debate the internet will never stop having. Meanwhile, T.I. was orchestrating the chaos with purpose. Every diss, every record, every viral moment was part of his final campaign for Kill the King. From war to the right one to lessons, he built momentum, trending moments, and relentless social media fire, proving he still had bars and the courage to step up. By the time Rick Ross publicly aligned himself with T.I., the movement was unstoppable. His involvement didn't just add weight, it amplified the impact. What both Ross and T.I. understood was simple. You cannot out-troll 50 Cent at his own game. He has been setting traps, manipulating narratives, and trolling longer than most of the competition has been alive. The smarter move was to operate where 50 refuses to tread, in real music. T.I. dropped multiple records. Demony Harris released Ms. Jackson, sampling Outkast while attacking 50 Cent directly. Rick Ross brought credibility, authority, and a lived experience that few could rival. His support wasn't performative. It was tactical, personal, and devastatingly effective, a perfect counterbalance to the silent, looming presence of 50 Cent in the middle of all this. The music angle of this war moved in one relentless direction. T.I. kept dropping records, each one sharper than the last, while 50 Cent stayed silent. Publicly, he insisted his quiet was strength, not retreat. Some bought that story, but the truth cut deeper. When you built a career as the most feared lyricist in any battle, choosing Instagram memes over bars while someone hurls diss tracks at you is a seismic shift that hip-hop can't ignore. By early March 2026, neither 50 Cent nor Rick Ross had released any new music aimed at each other. The fight existed entirely online. 50 Cent was busy pushing his TV empire and Broadway revival. T.I. drove the Kill the King rollout. Rick Ross stayed in his calculated lane, visible, unwavering, and lethal in subtlety. And that t-shirt, Sabrina Jackson printed on it, remained untouched by 50 Cent, at least publicly. That single omission speaks volumes. The 2026 clash proved that modern hip-hop beef isn't just about lyrics. It's about legacy. It's about control. Who gets to narrate the story online? It's about family. And it's about knowing where the lines are and who dares to cross them. The moment 50 Cent dropped Tiny's photo, the fight stopped being about catalog bragging rights. The instant King Harris posted the grave, it became something raw, primal, untouchable by music alone. And when Rick Ross asked for that 3XL shirt, he broadcasted to the world exactly which side of 15 years of buried history he still stood on. The feud between 50 Cent and Rick Ross delivered leaked tapes, multi-million-dollar lawsuits, and bankruptcy filings. The feud between 50 Cent and T.I. delivered viral memes, trending records, and some of hip-hop's most uncomfortably intimate family moments. Whether this 2026 chapter leaves a legacy deeper than online chaos, or quietly fades as 50 Cent cements his TV empire and T.I. closes his rap curtain, is still unknown. What is clear? Rick Ross showed up when it counted. He said everything that needed saying, and nothing more. He walked away unbothered, exactly as intended. And the question 50 Cent has never answered, the one T.I. has been shouting for years, the one embodied in that shirt, the one Ross has been holding since 2009, remains. When are you actually going to step up and rap? The floor is yours. Comment below. And don't forget, click one of the cards on your screen to see more stories like this. See you in the next one.